too late, way too late, far too late to be a punk. Far too late, way too late, far too late for that outro, that outro.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Born Too Late podcast. As per usual, I have my co-host Josh Rutledge with me and our special guest Niek from one of our favorite blogs, Add to Want List. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about our top 10 releases. Notice I said underline releases of 2026 so far. And the reason I emphasize that is because this is going to be our favorite singles, our favorite LPs, our favorite EPs, cassette EPs, whatever. And we're going to be talking about just what's been piquing our interest this year so far. And it's been a great year. I think we can all agree with that, right, guys?
Sure.
I mean, there's I came up with a whole honorable mentions list, which also has 10 plus records on it. That's how much I had to just agonize over top 10. That's how many great releases have been coming out this year. So first of all, I want to welcome our guest, Niek. Niek, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
And how difficult was it to come up with this list for you?
Yeah, it's pretty difficult. So you talk about the honorable mentions. I have like 10 records there, I think. Also, I think what's interesting is that I do the site with my brother Dennis, and he actually finds the year rather disappointing so far. So we both have some different tastes in music. But if you're into garage, rock and roll, power pop, punk rock, it's been a tremendous first half year.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I really like about your blog is that I feel like you and Dennis have different tastes, and together you guys cover a huge spectrum of rock and roll underground music. And it's fantastic.
Well, thanks. It's nice to hear. I think when we started out doing it, this was one of our concerns actually. So we thought perhaps our taste differed too much for the readership to develop. So it's really nice to hear that some people actually enjoy that part of the website.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think Josh can attest to that.
Well,
right,
100%, because I'm always impressed that you manage to find so much like excellent music, but it's not just limited to maybe what I write about, because you've got that whole world of like sort of indie rock that Dennis covers so beautifully. So yeah, it's definitely like the best music site out there.
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks, guys.
And
let's go to
And so Josh, how difficult was it for you to come up with this list?
Not too difficult, just because I've been outlining this like literally since like February in preparation for the year-end list. You know, you have to start with an outline, you know, and then maybe around Halloween I actually start writing the year-end list.
So, oh man,
wow!
Everything is already lined up. I've had like the top 10 list and everything, and written down into different formats. So all I had to do was just going to go through and then decide who was going to make my top 10 and what order. And then, yeah, I had a few honorable mentions in there too. So it's just because there's so much music I like, it was pretty easy to pick most of the ones that I was going to mention today.
So you're very methodical on your. Yeah. I don't start looking back till Thanksgiving, and then I start scrambling, going, "Uh-oh, it's almost time." And then you know what's always my way of deciding my top 10 is, what am I still listening to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What like behind, I know the listeners can't see, but behind me I have a couple of crates and 7 inches right here, and this is my like stuff I got recently, stuff I want to keep playing, and then whatever lasts here, then I'll cut, it doesn't get put away in my regular collection. I'm like, okay, I'm still listening to this. I'm still listening to this regularly. And then I go, subconsciously, that's my top 10 or, top my favorites. So, without, wasting any more time, do you guys want to get into this?
Sure.
Yeah, let's let Niek go first, since he's our guest.
It's our guest, Niek.
Okay, that's nice. So some words before I start with my first pick. I sort of ranked them, but I wouldn't really necessarily say that my number one will be my number one later in the year. But we'll see what happens. Also, for me, I think Jay, you already mentioned this. We listen to so much new music. So basically, most of my time that I spend listening to music are new releases, the new weekly releases, that I don't get too much time to revisit albums. So for me, it's kind of like a nice way to think of a list like this is, so what are the records that I actually, when I'm driving a car for an appointment to work, for example, what are the albums that I put on? What are the records or the songs that I keep revisiting? So those are really important in my decisions. And I'm going to start with my first record. And my first record is a really cool garage pop record that came out in February. It's Heather the Jerk. Scroll if you love Devil, I think it's called. It's Heather the Jerk is basically Heather Sawyer, who also she plays in The Hussy, Proud Parents, Who Is. Those are all bands or projects that she plays in. She released this record on her birthday, actually, so it was like a present to herself. But it's really like this lo-fi, punchy version of girl group music, I think.
Nice.
Also, I mean, I know Josh, you really like the Expats, like the father-daughter duo.
Yeah.
This sounds a little bit like that, but I think a bit more punchy, a bit more punk oriented. It's really a really cool cassette, I think. And it's also got one of my favorite songs of the year, which is called My Dumb Brain. So if we're going to make a playlist, I would put that song on the playlist.
Sounds good. I've never heard that before. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah,
Josh?
I'll be listening to that. It's like it's amazing, like when we do a show like this and we just talk to each other and find out about this stuff. Like when we did that thing at the end of the year, and Jay and you got me into Edders. Like, holy crap! It was like,
Oh yeah,
Niek and I have had conversations about the Edders.
yeah. We have.
Yeah, I Google translated some of those songs,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, that's cool.
I actually should do that. I'm curious to see what the translation of the Edders lyrics are.
Yeah, and let us know if it translates well
Yeah.
or if it's just way worse. Josh, if you want to,
so I'm gonna start off my number 10 is someone who's always going to be on my list at the end of the year if he puts something out, and that's Brad Marino, Agent of Chaos, released on several different record labels. There's just no one that does Brad Marino like the way Brad Marino does Brad Marino. Like, he's just got this sound that is just him. It's just rock and roll, sort of poppy rock and roll, 60s inspired, touch of Ramones, but just good, hard driving, catchy rock and roll. And I really like the the kind of the mix of styles he's got on this record. Like he's got like, Blowing Smoke and Calling Your Bluff, or just like total rockers, and Voodoo and Make This Last are more like straight power pop. And then of course he's got sort of the 60s pop style, well, in Dissin' and Dismissin' and Lost Without You. And then that really surprising, Devil May Care, where he kind of has that country feel to it. So it's almost like he's so good at doing what he does that people maybe start to lose interest. Like, oh, okay, here's another great Brad Marino album, oh ho hum. But man, he's just killing it. And another great album, Agent of Chaos.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing record. It's kind of, and he's playing so effortlessly. It's like he's perfectly comfortable with his sound, with the things he's doing. And I think I saw him in Haarlem last year perform, and I also talked a little bit with him. And he's such a nice, down to earth guy, and I was really impressed with how tight he sounded and how easy he made it look. All the downstrokes on his guitar, which is really cool to watch, actually. So, and I think this new record probably contains some of his finest songs yet. Yeah. So that's impressive.
Yeah, definitely. And I really like that you guys said it's so he makes it seem like it's like he's been writing his music for, well, I guess he has, with The Connection, which was another great band he was in. But yeah, Brad Marino is definitely a national treasure. It's I can't think of off the top of my head anybody that plays that kind of music that he does as well as he does.
Yeah.
And that's still active. It's still out there, that's still touring, that's still putting out new music. And it's really impressive. And I think you hit the nail on the head, Josh, when you said that he you kind of take it for granted that he's out there, that he's doing what he's doing, and I feel like if there ever comes a day, and I hope it doesn't anytime soon, where he stops playing music, there's going to be a void there. For sure. So my number 10 is I think both of you guys have heard of this, the Jacket Burner, the Pig Bonnet Sessions LP on Goodbye Boozy. It's raw, it's blown out, it's just lo-fi rock and roll. And I think it sounds like his equipment got burned up.
Yeah.
Right? Like there was a house fire and it got burned up, and he played the record on the equipment anyway. And there's something about lo-fi rock and roll that, most people put something like this on, and it just, and I've seen it, I've witnessed it even back in the day. You put music like this on and it repulses people. but there is an energy to lo-fi rock and roll that you either get or you don't. Especially like professional musicians, you play stuff like this, you play stuff like the Motards, or stuff back on, and people just, what the, how can you listen to this? You can't even, it's like, that's where the power comes from.
Yeah.
So yeah, that Jacket Burners, that LP is awesome.
I agree. Cool pick, Jay.
Thank you.
So I'm going to go with my next pick is a project from Connor Lonsden, who also plays in the number ones. And he also was, I think, a fill-in guitarist for the Speedways in the past 12 months or so. And under the name Music City, he released a 7-inch in 2017 or 2018, I think. And it contained like these two perfect power pop songs. And that's the 7-inch, and I always thought, well, is there going to be a follow-up to this 7-inch? But this year, he released an album, called "Welcome to Music City," and it's just impressive. It's just that when I listen to it, I'm just impressed. And I don't even like all the songs on it because some of the songs are like almost like soft rock from the 70s or something like that. But he covers so much ground on it. It's like he's like this crazy knowledge of rock and roll history. So there's like power pop stuff, and I think there are multiple songs on this record that could be like would have been major hits on AM radio back in the day. And he has I think he also has a lot of guest musicians on the record, a lot of friends. Like Adrian, the bass player of the Speedways, plays on a couple of songs, and he has Tina Holiday, the singer of Sheer Mac. She sings on one of the more rocking songs on the record. It also contains the two songs from the 7-inch from 7 or 8 years ago. It's just an impressive record, and I'm always impressed when I listen to it. And I mean, I have to be honest, I do skip some of the songs, but the really good songs are so great. And I think some of like the more power pop stuff is almost like you're listening to Rick Springfield, from Jesse's Girl. But I'm really impressed with that record. It's really a cool record.
Yeah, he's such a incredibly talented songwriter. And I think I've talked about this before. It's like, I kind of personally lean more to like the more punk rock adjacent sort of power pop, and he does that so well with the number ones. But here he does this kind of power pop record, this more sophisticated and sort of delicate, well crafted, and he does it just as well. Like what an amazing songwriter and talent he is. I mean, that is just a beautiful record. It's definitely going to make somewhere on my year-end list.
Yeah, I think so. I think both of our sites we did an interview with Matt from the Speedways.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he mentioned this on your website or on mine, but I think he mentioned that playing with Connor was a huge inspiration for the Speedways as well. So just sitting in the tour van, listening to music, talking about music, it was really inspirational. So I mean, Connor Lumsden, he's a really talented guy. And even though I agree with you, I wish that the number ones they had a comeback 7-inch last year. So I'm dying for a new number ones record. But still, man, this record, awesome.
So the number ones I really, really liked. But I'll be honest, the Speedways have been a band that just, I don't know why, have just completely eluded me. Like, I hear about them here and there, and I remember the interviews on you guys, and I was like, oh gosh, I got to check that band out. And I know they've been around for a long time, but it's always one of those things. I need to sit down and I need to check them out. And I don't, because I think you and I, Niek, were talking about how if you're not up on always listening to new stuff, it feels like you fall off the train and the train just goes right past you.
Yeah.
And this is, so it's like, man, I have such a hard time going back and listening, like sitting down and listening to something that, like a band like the Speedways that I really should be into.
Yeah.
You want to listen to radio sounds.
Okay. That's a good tip. So anybody that's out there.
And they have a new record coming out later this year.
Yeah.
So you get another chance, Jay.
Cool.
And based on the first couple of songs, I think it's going to be really good.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be holding a spot.
Oh yeah.
Near the top of my list for that album.
Awesome.
So Jay, we know this next artist rather well.
More than Brad Marino?
Yes, we stole his song for our theme music.
Oh.
And we owe him a case of Zagnut candy bars for this that we
need to get on that.
Still yet to send, but Charles Matthews is now recording as songs from the film, doing it all himself after the breakup of the cheap cassettes, And this thing like literally just came out on Wednesday. So this is hot off the presses. It's a single, She Don't Mind, backed with Waiting for the World to Explode. And you don't quite know what to expect when somebody like Charles goes off and says, okay, I'm going to do a solo thing now. But it's not that different from the Cheap Cassettes, but it's maybe a little bit more. He's embracing a little bit more influences. It doesn't necessarily have to be power pop. Maybe you can hear sort of that bubblegum, catchy glam rock influence and a little bit of that new wave influence. But yeah, both of these tracks are outstanding. She Don't Mind is kind of this hilarious portrayal of finding a spouse who puts up with your bullshit and in a very amusing way. And of course, Waiting for the World to Explode, a very, very, very like funny commentary on what horrible straits the planet is in right now, especially if you punish yourself by being on social media and engaging with people. And so just a absolute, knocked it out of the park on this first single for Charles, endorsed by Rumbar Records, and Ryan Myers putting it out on Sue Records on a 7-inch later this year. So we are excited about songs from the film and can't wait for more.
Have you had a chance to listen to that, Niek?
So I did a quick scan and I saw that Josh wrote about it. So I have it bookmarked to check it out later. So, but the first impression was really, really good, and I like the cheap cassettes as well. So curious to dive in more.
Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna like it. Like Josh said, it's not too far from Cheap Cassettes, but I definitely, and I told him this too, that I definitely hear some new wave in there. Definitely hear some like Elvis Costello and Joe Jackson in there, and I want to, and it's great. I like it a lot. In fact, Charles Matthews interview coming soon on Shock Treatment. But I want to just take a moment to acknowledge Sue Records.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a label that flies under the radar a lot. And some of those records that he's been putting out are phenomenal. Even like Gorilla Teens, the New Brutarian, or New Brutarians he's put out. This, and it's like I'm looking at his catalog and I'm like, oh, geez, there's a lot of really cool music and I feel like it doesn't get the exposure it needs. So my shout out to Sue Records. So we're at number 9. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So my number 9 pick is a 7-inch that I reviewed on my site called Excess Blood, and it's called Porcelain Dolls. 4 songs on a label called Unlawful Assembly, which I had never heard of until this, but from Portland, and it's like a death rock goth, and but it's got like some speed to it. So it's got like a little bit of like the Portland anarcho stuff, like mix a little Defiance in there, and I thought it was brilliant. I can't wait to hear more. And I don't know a whole lot more about the band. I got that 7-inch, I believe from Sorry State, and it was a game changer for me. I'm like, that's killer. I've never seen a band that combined those things and did it so well. So yeah, Excess Blood's Porcelain Doll 7-inch on Unlawful Assembly is my number 9.
Haven't heard it yet, Jay, so I'm going to check it out.
That's quite a band name.
Yeah.
Grabs your attention.
Excess Blood, yeah.
Excess Blood.
Kind of gnarly.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's cool. Great record.
So my next pick came out, I think, last month on Total Punk Records. It's the new Cherry Cheeks LP called Dio and the Bites. And I liked all the previous stuff from this band, actually. But think this new record is perhaps the best one yet. And it's kind of it has a weird concept story to it with like, there's a main protagonist who is actually a digital character, and he gets chased by these, I have no idea by what he's chased, but they want to erase his memory. So there's like a story arc to the songs. I think you could file this record under like the egg punk scene, because it has like this synth punk vibe to it, and it's kind of quirky and it's kind of playful. But I mean, bottom line, it's just a killer punk record, and it has like this really classic, almost like late 70s punk songs as well. But I really enjoy this record. I think also because of this concept idea, there's also a nice flow, and I think the sequencing of this record is really, really great as well. So I was impressed with this one.
Yeah.
Kind of cool that we have like concept records are like still a thing, like that Dracula's record too. It's like,
oh yeah,
this whole like universe where you can tell a story through songs. I'm gonna have to check that out.
It's kind of cool. So here you have like like this really classic punk sound, but then you have like lyrics where he says like stuff like I love my AI girlfriend, so it's like really topical for 2026, but then the sound is really classic punk.
Yeah, I really like this band. Like I barely got into them the last record, and I was like, wow, that's it's like you said, it's a little eggy, but it's great, and not but there's some cool punk bands out there, but yeah, Cherry Cheeks are amazing. I haven't see again this new one. I haven't sat down and listened to it yet, but I hear high praise from a lot of people.
Fantastic.
Hey Josh, what's your next pick?
So we're gonna meet up with another friend of the program. I've been writing about Rich Ragany for a long time, with his various projects. First with Role Models, and then he had the Digressions, and then he did the solo record. And now he went out. He and Simon Maxwell, who's a longtime drummer, and they hooked up with Sami Yaffa from Hanoi Rocks, and you're like, oh my God, we've got a super group here. And so the Sideshows, their debut album is my number 8 selection. Like, how can you go wrong? You've got Rich Ragany writing songs, and you got Sami Yaffa playing bass and contributing to the sound, and Simon Maxwell is so good on the drums, and so just great. Like, what do you say? It's rock and roll with hooks. Obviously, glam influence, punk influence, but poppy too, anthemic. Songs like Brand New and Say Goodbye on a Night Like This. Rock and Roll Owes Me an Apology. This Could Be Everything. I mean, Rag's just one of the best songwriters out there, and I feel like he's kind of living my idea that sometimes life can start after 50, and you can be at your best in your 50s, like I'm hoping to be myself. And for him to have been like a sort of a side band, guitar player for so many years, and then he starts in his 40s being a lead man, and now he's just at a peak. So yeah, you got to check out that Sideshows record, Rich Ragany and Simon Maxwell and Sami Yaffa.
Nice. So Jay, what you had with the Speedways, I have a little bit with Rich Ragany, because every time Josh saying like, oh man, he's my favorite songwriter, I think, oh, I have to check more of his stuff. But I think the only record that I really, really love is one of the, I think the Role Models records. I think it's probably the first one or something like that, because he has such an amazing voice and there's so many good songs on it. But I have to check this one out as well, Josh.
Yeah, that goes double for me too. Who put that out? Was it Rumbar?
No, I think maybe one label in Finland. There's like a couple other labels, but I think the only vinyl that exists right now is from Finland. So
Oh,
more to
interesting.
come, but you can get it on Spotify. Yeah,
Cool.
tremendous rock and roll record.
Cool. I'll check that out for sure. So my next pick is a band called Collapse, and their LP called Getting Used to the Dirt. It came out on Primator Crew and Oi the Boat Records. This is another band that I was completely smacked in the face with. Like I don't even remember how I heard them. I think it must have just been like just buzz, but they're just killer melodic street punk oi mix that kind of reminds me of that band, like bands like maybe like the Forgotten or Oxymoron back in the day. And yeah, they're just great, just super catchy, hard hitting street punk. It's great. This is second LP. Oi the Boat has both LPs available for mail order, just FYI. So yeah, great band. I hope this is just the beginning. Hope they have good long future ahead of them because they put out great records.
Yeah, I'm going to revisit this one because I recall bookmarking this, liking it, plan on writing it, and then kind of got lost in the mix, I think. So you make me want to go back to it.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, because I used to be so into stuff like that, like back in the 90s. And for whatever reason, now I haven't been as much into the street punk stuff, so maybe I just need to go back to it.
Well, it's cool because a lot of the oi and street punk that's coming out is so heavy. Like it's very gruff and very, and for a band to put some melody into it, some hooks, it's like, wow, that's what that genre, needs, in my opinion. But, a little cockspar in there doesn't hurt.
Yeah, that's what I'm wanting. Give me some cockspars, some angelic upstarts.
Yeah, little partisans. Yeah, exactly.
Were those bands in your top 100 version of the Rolling Stone top 100? The angelic upstarts and the cockspar.
Exactly.
Yeah. We definitely pushed to get some of that in there because.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. We threw some of that
because that got underrepresented in that list.
For sure.
Cool. Okay, so my next pick is a Big Smash by Dust Star. Dust Star is like this roll your windows down modern power pop band featuring. They have two songwriters. So the one is Cameron Wish, and he also plays in a band called Sandy, which is basically, I think he took his name from the Descendants, like the middle portion of the Descendants is kind of what you see when a person is wearing a Descendants t-shirt and you're wearing a shirt over it, which I thought it was kind of a cool idea for a band name. And it's also, so if you don't know Sandy, it's really, I think that's how you pronounce it, but it's really cool pop punk, or a version of pop punk that's not really the old school kind, but it's really fast and it's super catchy. So he's one of the songwriters, and the other one is Justin Jurgens, who also plays in Ingrate, which is like this really kind of a dirty glam garage rock, garage punk actually outfit. And he also plays in the Seeley Jurgens band together with Kyle Seeley, which is the lead guitarist of Shearwax. And they have created this new record, and they had a record out in 2022, which was already really good. But the new one is more ambitious, I think. And in a sense, it reminds me a little bit of the record Predatory Headlines from Tenement. So Tenement were this awesome punk rock band. But then they had this one record, I think it was a double LP, where you really went out there, blending all these different styles. And this is also what they do on this record. But probably my favorite part of this record is that you have two songwriters and you can really recognize which songwriter wrote which song. So you have like these super catchy, fast songs of Cameron Wish, and then you have like these more smooth power pop, 70s oriented songs from Justin. Um, but there are really great songs on it. So this is really kind of like a really good indie rock, power pop, alternative rock record, I think.
Cool. Yeah, this is where add to want lists, the net gets spread. You know, you catch more fish with the add to want list net than No, I've never heard this record before.
I think Josh, you know them, right? I think you also wrote about their previous one, right? Or
I don't think I know this band. I'm gonna have to listen to that because that certainly sounds like something I would be into.
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
Nice.
So in my number 7 spot is a band that only has a couple of releases out, but the lead singer I think is one of the best lead singers in rock and roll today, and has not put a lot of music out. I wish there were more, but it's Poison Suckers from Winnipeg, and Joanne Rodriguez. I just think that when it comes to a singer who can just belt it, she's just amazing. And of course, this is the band that she does with her husband Joe, and so this Poison Suckers record, Charmer, on Transistor 66. It's just, like half of it is just like great, like budget rock, full fury rock and roll, but with like the soul music vocals. And then there's sort of that girl group influence on Charade and more of a country music feel on Viper Wind. So just a perfect record, lo-fi rock and roll of the highest order. And Poison Suckers' previous record was fantastic too. So this is the band I hope we hear a lot more from in the future.
Yeah, I think I was looking at, so I was Googling them on our website, right? I was using the search box on our own website because I recall that the name sounded familiar, but I think Dennis, he wrote about them as well, and he also was kind of raving about them. So that's cool. So sometimes when Dennis writes about stuff, I don't always recall that we covered this. So it's kind of like probably have to go to the penalty box for this one.
Yeah, I it's funny like you say that because I remember, as you were saying that, I remember when I used to do audio ammunition with my friend Ed. Yeah, he would write about stuff, and I would just totally miss it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh man, that sounds like something I would like. I can't believe I didn't.
Yeah.
That's funny. I've not. That's first of all, that's a cool name. I really like that band name, Poison Suckers. I've never heard this. I'll have to check this out.
You should look at the album cover as well. It's a pretty funny album cover.
Really?
Yeah, it's funny.
Cool. Yeah, it's going on my list. Every time I do a show, I record Born Too Late. I always have a pad of paper and a pen because the guest always mentions records that I should check out. And so I have like almost a full pad of paper with band names, album names, things to check out. So yeah, I'm gonna check out Poison Suckers for sure.
Yeah, Jay, if you like the Bell Rays, like imagine like a budget version of that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Well, my number 7 pick is by a new band called Physicalist, and they put out a 5-song cassette EP on Dirt Cult Records, and this is 2/3 of Night Court. And again, this is I almost, and I'm sure you guys are the same way, but I always dig for music. Like I'll see a flyer for a show on Instagram, and I'll be like, oh, okay, well, this band I know is playing, but who are these two bands? And so I'll go on Instagram or on Bandcamp and I think Dirt Cult, I might have just got it from the because I'm subscribed to their Bandcamp. And so when they put this out, I'm like, and Dirt Cult, it's like you never know what you're getting, which is the beauty of that label. There's so many different bands on there. And so, I checked out Physicalists. I'm like, oh man, it's like a hurricane of like, it sounds nothing like Night Court at all. And I mean, it isn't necessarily a good or bad thing. I mean, I think we all love Night Court, but it's like it reminded me of like Drive Like Jehu, like almost like Rocket from the Crypt. Like there's like punk rock and roll noise, and it's just so it's fast, it's hard, it's just killer, melodic. It's not just a bunch of watery mumbo jumbo like sometimes bands like that tend to get. They keep it solid, and it's great. It's a great record.
Yeah. I'm so happy that you included this one, because I had it in my initial list, because I think more people should hear this EP. And I'm a huge fan of Night Court, but I'm also a huge fan of the guitar player Dave. I think Dave is his name.
Yeah.
And he's such an original guitar player, and this really shines on this EP. So this is really loose, kind of a loose style. It's really spontaneous, and also I think he's a huge fan of hardcore punk as well.
Yeah.
So he takes that inspiration, but then creates it into something of his own, and it's a really exciting band that he started. So I'm hoping that there will be more from this one.
Yeah, I'm hoping somebody releases this on a 7-inch.
Yeah.
But so far as I know, it's just a cassette. And yeah, it's very different. Like I can't think of a band that sounds like this right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool stuff.
Okay. So my next pick, Jay, is then the LP that I replaced the Physicalist EP with, because I was revisiting the records that I wrote about, and there was one that I started playing again, and I mean the songs are just so amazing, and it's not even in like really the style that I normally listen to, but I'm just so impressed with this band, and it's Maud Lang, and the LP is Borrowed Time, and I think they're kind of like this hype band, but they're deservedly so. They are of course named after a Big Star song, so you get that Big Star influences, but I think Patrick from used to run Sweet Sweet Music blog, and he now has a new blog, Chiming Back. I think he described it something like Big Star meets Raspberries, and also like the John Lennon side of the Beatles, and that's kind of what it sounds like. But I mean, the songs, it's one of those rock and roll revivalist bands, but if you listen to this record, it's like these songs always have been there. It's not like it's a record from 2026. It's like this was one of those classic albums from the 70s, and it's just bam, it's there, and I'm really impressed with this one as well. And I'm not really a huge on the Beatles. I like Big Star, not all of the Big Star stuff. I like some of the Raspberry stuff, but this is just, it hits a lot of right notes for me.
Oh, yeah, and I don't mean to plug this at all, but like when we had Jason Duncan on from Just Add Water, we talked a lot about Maud Lang.
Okay.
And he just goes deep into this record, and yeah, they're amazing. And I really like what you said about, yeah, it's like these songs have always been there. It's like this record was released, in like the mid 70s or something, and it's just always been there,
Yeah.
And I like also like what you said, yeah, it's like they take in my opinion, they take the best parts of Big Star and raspberries and power pop, stuff like that, and gel it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, great record, great band.
That was also my number 6 choice.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's one of those things. Like, okay, this record could have been made in 1974, but it doesn't sound like it's trying to be retro as much as it is just timeless. And it's just how well they do it, like how absolutely pinpoint those harmonies are, and how perfect the songwriting is. And for something like this to be this popular now, like, God bless the Lemon Twigs for popularizing like good music again. It's not pretentious, it's not trying to be hip. It's just good, classic, guitar-driven, melodic pop music, and it's just done perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of LPs that I was counting on you guys having on your list.
Yeah.
Which is why I didn't. I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're going to have a few of these, so I'm not going to put them on it. But Maud Lang is definitely one of those records where, like, if I didn't think you guys are going to have them on there, that would have gone on my list.
So there's a consensus on Maud Lang.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Josh, what's your number? Or did we? Yeah, what's
Maud Lang?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You got the same one. So my number 6 is kind of had a little bit of a battle between. I couldn't decide. It was either going to be well. First of all, my pick is the Six Shooters LP. Supersonic Rock Saga on Wop Shoo Wop Records, which is another fantastic label. It seems like it just launched into the stratosphere recently, but I couldn't decide whether I wanted Automatic Lovers or Six Shooters in this spot. But ultimately Six Shooters won. Melodic, I guess you can say a little bit of power pop in there, rock and roll. Just great record, man. I just, can't get enough of this. Probably listen to this record since it came out, like, I think it's once a week, sometimes even more than that. I love it.
Yeah, you don't hear enough bands like hit all the notes the way they do, where it's like fast punk rock, but it's also power pop, but it's got the sort of the garagey rawness to it. So yeah, like all the music we love from like the last few decades, and they hit all the perfect parts of that. Yeah, that is a fantastic record. It's an honorable mention on mine.
And I just I'm sorry, Niek. I just want to say one quick thing.
Okay, sure.
Wop Shoo Wop Records, please find a U.S. distribution, because I can't find your records anywhere here. So, or let us know somehow. Email us. Let us know where I can get your records here in the U.S. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I will drop a note to Gideon, who is like the head honcho of Wop Shoo Wop. No, I was counting on you picking this record because I know you really love the Six Shooters record, and I do as well. I mean, there's so many cool moments. It's like sometimes they really capture that late 70s vibe or power poppy, and then it's more garagey, and it's kind of cool that they don't have a bass player, which I didn't really notice when I was playing it. But no, I agree, and I think also, Wop Shoo Wop, they're like a treasure, and they're doing really cool stuff. They're also kind of like scene builders, I think. So they have they bring in more youngsters to the scene, and they have a cool art direction. So they really have an idea what they're building there, and it's really cool, and they're also having fun with it, I think. So they have this Dutch ska band as well. They released recently, which is not really my thing, but I do appreciate how they are doing it. So it's really with funny lyrics, and then they have like the Automatic Lover stuff is more like the rough kind of punk, but you have like the catchy stuff like the COVIDs. are a bit similar to Six Shooters in the way that they try to build on that late 70s punk vibe. So cool label, cool band.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh, so my next pick then. And this is a pick that I think you will like. Perhaps it's also on your list, or perhaps you don't know this band. It's from France, so I probably won't pronounce this correctly, but the name of the band is Faucheuse, Faucheuse. And the name of the record is Comme un poignard. It's their second LP, and it's just fantastic. It's a hardcore punk record. It's frantic, it's ferocious, but it's also really technical and tight. So they have really great musicians. I think there are just 4 of them, but everyone is really talented. I also feel that they have like this great knowledge of rock and roll history. So there are like these cool guitar riffs that are more like rock and roll almost. They have this powerhouse vocalist. I mean, she can really scream, but she can also really sing. So she's loud. And this was one of the records that the first time I played it was like, this is pretty amazing. And then the second time it's like, oh, I just want to keep playing it again and again. And it's really a cool record. So Faucheuse is really one of the recommendations on my list, because I think not everyone knows this band, but they should get a bigger audience as well.
Oh man, sounds awesome. I need to
Yeah.
check it out.
Yeah, this looks like a J kind of record here.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's definitely a J kind of record. Yeah.
I need this in my life. I can already tell.
Comment poignard.
Yeah.
That sounds like a really, really killer hardcore record. So we're getting to the top 5. So now we're getting to some what I think will be obvious choices from me. I don't think anyone's going to be surprised by anything that comes on my list. So, it's not going to be Geese. So we've got the Dolmans with Life in Reverse. I've been writing about the Dolmans since literally the first day I started this blog. But they took a real chance with this one, because they have this great identity as sort of this quintessential power pop band. And they said, you know what, we're not going to necessarily make a power pop record. We're just going to go out and we're going to take all the music we've ever loved since we were like teenagers and sort of pay tribute to that and create this great like rock record. And, Life in Reverse, it kind of makes sense when you think about it that way. So they're kind of all over the place, Leather Boys, the Detroit rock, they go almost action rock with From the Universe. They're into like sort of that Laurel Canyon 70s type deal with like Old Ghost Stay, more Old Ghost Stays, more modern with the title track and the Golden One. And then, getting to more of like the classic guitar pop with like Sandalwood and What's Inside a Mind, or sort of classic Dolmans with Ride On. But they're just a tremendous band. I mean, I always love family bands. There's just something about that dynamic, and so with Andre and Lena as husband and wife sort of working together, and the way he writes songs that sort of suit the way she sings. It's just a beautifully produced, beautifully played, and just great songs from start to finish. And I really feel like the Dolmans can already establish themselves as being able to say, okay, we're a great power pop band, but now they're just a great band, period.
Yeah, Dolmans have been around for a while, haven't they?
Yeah.
I see you write about them all the time, and it's weird. Like, you do like family bands.
Yeah.
Like, I've noticed now that you said that, I'm thinking about some. I'm going through like the Rolodex in my head. And I'm like, yeah, you do. That's funny. Like X-Bats. Like,
yeah.
But yeah. Nick, did you have anything to?
No, I think that the band did a tremendous job on that one. I have to admit that I like the old version of the Dolmans more. So that's more kind of my vibe. But I still feel that they really put themselves out there, and they did an amazing job. It's not for me, that record, I think. A couple of songs are, but I appreciate that record very much.
Yeah. So my number 5 is a record that just came out. and it's the Circulators' new 7-inch, Pointless Games, that came out on Total Punk. Killer record. I love their LP that came out a couple years ago, also on Total Punk. And Circulators are like one of my favorite bands on that label. Actually, one of my favorite bands, right? Period. But this 7-inch, just because I think about that band, I'm like, well, somehow like it's weird. Like somehow I always think that this is the kind of band it's always hit or miss for me, but they've always hit, and I always think, I'm like, oh, what? I hope this 2-song 7-inch is going to bring it like that LP did, and it does. It delivers big time. Just fun, loud garage punk, melodic rock and roll. Brilliant.
Yeah, I think there aren't many bands that play this style this good right now.
Right, exactly.
And it was a surprise single, I think. So
yeah.
There was this Total Punk retreat or something like that, like a festival or like a showcase festival, and so all of a sudden it was just online without any announcement or something, which also was kind of cool, I thought, because this is one of those bands where you see they have new music, you right away you want to start checking it out. It's a killer band.
Oh yeah, it almost seems like they're so elusive. Like
this
7-inch is super limited. I think it's limited to a couple hundred, 250. So yeah, if you're a fan, better jump on it. Are you familiar with Circulators, Josh?
Yeah, like Jay, you and I were talking earlier about sometimes we will just not review something because someone else already reviewed it and just did the perfect review. So I kind of felt like Niek nailed the Circulators review so much that I didn't even need to write about it. Kind of like when you did that Flash Kicks review. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to top that. So I'm just going to, put it on my list to the end of the year, but maybe I don't need to write a review. Yeah, because Circulators are awesome. And I just thought maybe it would just be redundant for me to review it at that point.
Sorry, Josh. No. Sometimes I have the same thing. So sometimes Josh writes about a record extensively, and I just go. So I do share it on the website, but it's like a really short review, and I say, just go to Josh's website because he wrote basically what I feel about this record. Okay, so my next one is kind of a difficult one because it's a record that it impressed me right from the get-go. But then something happened afterwards that I just couldn't listen for it for a while because it felt so sad listening to it. It's the Final Friends of Cesar Romero record. So I think Jay, we talked a little bit about this via direct message about this artist. So Jay Whalen Porcupine, and he set out with this crazy idea. So back in 2011. He decided to start the Doomed Babe series. So basically write songs about failed relationships, jealousy, all that kind of stuff, bad romance stories actually. And he thought he would do that for like 10 releases or so. He had also some personal demons to fight off, and he started doing that. But it became a bigger thing. So during the year, so he started in 2011. Last year, he had like accumulated 45, 46 releases in that series. So he wrote hundreds of songs, and I think for every couple of weeks or every couple of months, there was another Bandcamp notification like there's a new Friends of Cesar Romero record out. Then last year, all of a sudden, he announced that, okay, I'm going to quit after number 50. So number 50 will be the final release in this series. So earlier this year, he started putting out all these releases. So I think in February, he dropped number 48. And then a couple of weeks later, he dropped 49. And then I think mid-March or so, he dropped the final one. And I was I wrote a review and posted a write up on it, and I emailed it to him, or we talked a little bit, and I said, is this really the final one? And he said, yeah, I need to step away from rock and roll for a while because I had some tough years, and I think mentally and physically, he had a rough couple of years. So the record came out, but it was really great stuff. So imagine that he's been writing like these songs, and these are all catchy. I mean, this is exactly this kind of stuff that I think Josh and I go for, like the catchy garage, power pop, pop punk. I mean, Jay Whalen, he's really good at that. So his final record, it still contains some of the best work that he wrote. But then a couple of weeks later, suddenly I saw this message that he died in a car crash, which was insane. So there was like really bad weather. He lost control with his car, and he died in that car crash. So it was like, are you serious that this happens right now or at all? So I felt really sad. So I couldn't listen to this record or any of his music for a while. But then when you guys invited me, and I had to go back and start playing it again. And I mean, this is just, there's so many good songs on this record, but also in his discography. So if you haven't heard his music, go back to his Bandcamp site. I think there are like 450 songs to check out. And from 2011 to 2026, I mean, there are gems to be found on each of those records. But I still can't believe this happened. And also like the timeline of it, it's just, I mean, it's difficult. My mind was blown when I found out that he died.
Yeah, I was really shaken by that.
Yeah.
Especially, as you said, for it to have happened just, what, like 2 weeks after he puts out the last record, for it to have just been that sudden. Yeah, I have not been able to go back and listen to that record again. I love it. And, probably by the end of the year, I'll go back and, because he also did that record, Soul Scouts, and for whatever reason he chose to delete most of it. He had left the one track up.
Okay.
But Songs the Siren Sing, that last one. Oh
yeah,
what a way to go out, especially that last song, and to have it kind of end. Sort of hopeful,
Yeah.
And like, I hope the people can still go to Bandcamp and just buy that whole discography, because what he did over those releases is just so remarkable, and just hitting all of the areas of music that we love, like being right there, sort of writing all those lines, power pop and pop punk and garage rock and classic guitar pop, and he could do it all. And that's the thing, is this music was written from such personal pain, and loss. But yet the talent was just so effortless, and the ability to write songs. And I can't think of many people that I've ever known that have written like better lyrics and had more clever song titles.
Yeah. I'm happy that he always put the lyrics on Bandcamp as well, because the lyrics are really powerful, and sometimes they're really funny, and sometimes they are really toxic, and it's and you can always tell that they come from a real human being. And sometimes it's really cool that there are these talented musicians that no one knows about doing the most special kind of thing. But in this instance, it almost feels like unfair that a lot of the world will never know how cool Friends of Cesar Romero was and how special this project was. So I wanted to include it in my list here, because it was what a run he had, and what a crazy way to go. I mean, it's insane.
The timing of it, and I think I was always thankful that because of you, I kind of discovered what he was doing, and I had sort of missed, some of the early releases in that. And then once I, got on that train, I was always going to be listening to every new one that came out. And boy, what a series that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I know I know Josh was a fan. Nick, when you messaged me about that, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, of course, like that would be a cool person to have on our show, and I'm like, I know Josh likes them, and then since we only do like 1 or 2 episodes a month,
Hmm.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll have him on, I'll tell Josh about it, and I'm sure he'll want to have him on, and then I got sick and for a while, and and then I just kind of
Hmm.
like just something I totally forgot about, and then I heard about his passing. I'm like, what? And Josh is totally not aware because I never even mentioned it to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I heard about his passing. I'm like, wow. I'm like, I could not. Yeah, that was unbelievable. I mean, yeah, you guys already said it best, but yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So yeah, down to number 4 here.
Oh yeah, okay.
This is not going to surprise anyone. Um, the Sleevines, national anthem. Obviously, I've been looking forward to this record for a long time. I knew it was coming out. I think their first album is. Didn't we end up putting it on our top 100 when we did the episode?
Yeah, I think we did.
100 greatest punk albums ever made. We had the Sleevines on there.
This one or the first one? I don't know.
It was the first one, but this is certainly a formidable follow up, and I kind of like the idea that this album it kind of finds the band leaning a little bit more into that sort of Tennessee garage rock and roll legacy, because obviously you've got Steph from Ireland, but even Steph was like this huge like Greg Cartwright fan from the earliest days as a songwriter. So it's just kind of very natural that they would be on Goner Records and make this like sort of southern fried rock and roll record. And of course they had released a couple of those songs, If I Was a Casual and I Was Born on a Saturday Night, the first 2 tracks. And that's certainly like starting the record off with a bang. And yeah, it's a cool record because it's similar enough to the first album that it sounds like the Sleevines, but it's certainly not a copy of the first album. And like you're not going to find another more unique band than this to have like this sort of Irish poet fronting this, raw garage rock and roll band and have it like gel the way it does. Like, My Pretend Boyfriend has got that more of a power pop influence, and they do that amazing cover of The Rat, but they do it Sleeving style, and then they redid one of Steph's old songs, Town of Horseheads, which is kind of epic, and doing like sort of the more pure punk rock with Six Counties Punk and just a great rocker and cowboy queen. So yeah, this was a highly anticipated record, and it did not disappoint.
Do you think this one's better than the first one?
It's hard for me to say better than the first one, just because I've been listening to that first one for so long. It's gonna take time for me to see how it does. It's very good. I'm not sure I'm ready to say better than the first one.
Okay, I am. By the way, I am. I think this one is better than the first one, because the first one they had like these couple of singles that I've been listening to before the full album came out, and it was almost like, oh, I think those are the best songs on the first record.
Yeah.
But this one as a whole, I think, is a more stronger record. And also, I mean, I love that they cover the Walkman, the Red by the Walkman, because I'm a massive fan of the Walkman. And what I really love is that they start playing the Red, which is such a well-known song. And I think midway through, I still like, oh, this is by the Walkman. This is the Red by the Walkman. How do I know this song? So it's perfect, the Sleevings style cover. No, great record, great sounding record as well.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that's to me, it's so impressive about them is they've got the depth of lyrically of a singer-songwriter, but the band is a punk band, and those two coming together, it makes them like unparalleled almost by anybody. It's a very unique blend, and I love it. I love that those two elements of that band that it really sets them apart, to me anyway.
Yeah, it's like imagine if like Van Morrison sang for the Undertones, like
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
would it work? Yeah, apparently.
Exactly. But so anyway, my number 4. So you guys kill me with the power pop. Like, you guys have more of a grasp on that genre than I do. Like, but my number 4 is the new Soft Jaw LP that Dandy Boy Records put out. And I mean, granted, it's not really it doesn't have new songs. It's a collection of their digital singles and a couple of covers. But holy crap, this record and this band is amazing. From Long Beach, and it's one of the best power pop records I've heard, from the few that I hear. So I don't know if I'm a really good judge to say something like that, but that has entered my world. Yes, Soft Jaw's killer. I don't know if you guys had a chance to hear this.
Yeah, I think for
No, you did.
that sort of traditional power pop sound, like it's pretty perfect.
Yeah, I agree. It was kind of a bummer. I was hoping for a full new record from them. So, but then again, I bought the EP or the LP, and Dennis as well. So we're both huge fans. Cool cover songs as well. I think probably the best cover of "Working Too Hard" from the beat that I've ever heard. Really cool band, and also, I mean, Dandy Boy Records, they release a lot of great stuff. Not a lot of this more punky power pop stuff, but mostly more like the jangly power pop and the more indie pop stuff. But they have, I think, for the past 2 years, they've been releasing really amazing stuff. So what I really love about that label is that it's really a kind of a community in the Bay Area. So the label head, I think his name is Bobby. He basically only releases music from his friends or people he trusts, and they trust him. So it's really like this good vibe label as well. And a lot of these musicians play on each other's records. But Softjaw, I mean, I hope that they will continue to be a band releasing new music, because they really belong in that category of the Whiffs, the Speedways, those kinds of bands that really play a certain style of power pop. So really, really great LP.
Yeah, and I just want to add, the Sleevines is also a band that I was counting one of you guys to have on.
Yeah, I was counting on Josh. Yeah, definitely.
It's not like you were dissing the Sleevines.
So, okay, guys. So my next pick is I think it's more like a different kind of record that I wouldn't expect on your websites, because it's more like more of a guitar pop record. So Dennis and I, we frequently write about these bands that are more in the vein of like these alternative power pop bands like Teenage Fan Club, or more like the alternative pop bands like the Lemonheads, or perhaps more like the Guided by Voices bands. And this is one record that's really fits that category. It's Softest Attack by Prism Shores. And I mean, this band, they take that style, but make it completely something of their own. And I like their previous record, but this new one is really, really, really great. And the melodies are perfect on this one. So song after song, they write these killer guitar pop songs, but it's not like the more softer side. It has a punch to it, and it has a pace to it. So I would really recommend checking it out. And they're also on a label which is one of those trusted sources for good music for me. That's Meritorio Records in Spain. It's also one of those labels that I won't say that I like everything they put out, but I know that if this label had sends me a message like I have a new record coming out, I always check it because I know it's quality music at least. So he has a really good ear for like these quality guitar pop bands. So I recommend checking out the roster of Meritoria records, but also check out this record. So Softest Attack by Prism Shores.
All right,
Awesome.
I'm checking out that Bandcamp right now.
Yeah. So it's Prism. It's not prison like the where we put prisoners in, but Prism like PRISM.
Yeah, Prism
Yeah.
Shores. Yes.
Yeah. And just for the record, Bandwagonesque is one of my favorite LPs of all time. I should write about this kind of stuff. It's just like it's weird. It's like I almost see it like there's different pawns of the different pockets of the scenes, and like just have to kind of like tune into the one, and I've got my hands on a couple, but like this kind of stuff, no way. Like I'm glad you mentioned this, because this would have just gone right past.
Yeah. So Teenage Fanclub for me, it's kind of like a band that I circled back to. So like modern bands, and I read some reviews, and then they mentioned Famous Fan Club again and again. It's like, oh, I have to go back to that stuff. Oh, it's amazing. And I think Dennis and I, back in 2015 or 2016, we already had the idea for At the Want List. So we went to the Primavera Sound Festival in Barcelona because we wanted to see the Replacements play there, which was awesome to see that band. But also Teenage Fanclub was playing there.
Nice.
And I only knew a couple of songs from this band, but we were standing there, and the Primavera Sound Festival is really this festival where a lot of friends from all over Europe go to. But of course, there are Scottish bands. So we were standing in the front between all these Scottish people. And Scottish people, they really sing loud with their bands. Really proud fans of music. And so I think I got all hyped up about Teenage Fanclub in that show. It was like, oh man, I need to, because also this is one of those bands, if you only listen to them casually on your speakers, it's just kind of nice. But when you see them live, and I mean, it's not like they're standing there as a punk rock band. I mean, they could be your coworkers at work in an office, right? So that's also how they play their instruments, but they are really enjoying themselves, and it has a nice punch to it when you see them on stage. And then you have all these Scottish fans singing along to it. Oh, man, I love that show. And ever since then, I've been a huge fan of their first 5 records, I think. Perfect.
Awesome. Yeah, I've never seen them live. I'd be awesome too.
Yeah, that's like a really important band in my life, just because they're maybe a little bit older than I am, but like they kind of debuted when I was in college, and so I kind of have grown up with them, and they started out as like a first album, very like noisy indie rock band, and then sort of moving into power pop, and then doing sort of the loud power pop, and then they started being like more of a pure pop band, and are still doing it. So yeah, I love Teenage Fanclub. Don't write about a whole lot of bands that sound like Teenage Fanclub, but Teenage Fanclub themselves, probably a top 10 band for me.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Is it my turn? Who's turn?
We're down to top
Josh.
3.
Okay,
Josh. Yeah.
So it's my turn?
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so well, we've talked about this band probably multiple times today. They're going to have an album out later this year, but for right now we have a single, and that's the Speedways. The single is Luna, backed with I Shouldn't Have Tried to Leave Without You. Obviously, if you've read the interview that Niek did, the interview that I did, Matt was doing a lot of press to get the word around. Good for him to get people interested in the Speedways, because I think this new album is going to be pretty special. Because the last album was a little different, and I think they're going back more to what the Speedways were. Like, I think this is going to be like a definitive power pop record. It's kind of a funny story about how maybe the band didn't originally think of Luna as even being worthy of a single or being worthy of being an A side. It's a little short, but there's just a vibe with that song. The Rolling Stones rip-off riff and just the catchy chorus and just sort of having sort of that very, very upbeat, which is very rare for the Speedways to have like a happy love song, which now, due to circumstances, has a sort of a bittersweet undercurrent to it. And then I Shouldn't Have Tried to Leave Without You came out about a month later, and then it was put together on the same 7-inch. And I think that's probably leaning more towards that one as being like the hit of the record, if only because Mary Blunt on the backing vocals like makes that song so good. But yeah, classic Speedways, a happy song, and then a sad song, great power pop. Can't wait for the full album.
Yeah, I love the Luna song, and then there's like the B-side on the 7-inch is like, perhaps is this even more of a hit?
Yeah.
So this record is one of my most anticipated records for the remainder of the year. And I think Jay, one of the things I like about the Speedways is also that they have like these, 3 characters, and then they have a new guitar player, but they each contribute to that sound. So they have like this cool bass player, Matt Julian, who's a really cool songwriter in an almost old-fashioned kind of way, I think. And they have like Chris Hood on drums, and he's just such a fun drummer to watch. So he has this cool style of drumming, and it's just a classic kind of band. And I'm just happy that bands like these are around, even though there might not be such a big market for this kind of sound. So bands like this always tour Spain, and they play a couple of shows in the UK, and I always kind of feel bad that they skipped my country, the Netherlands. But I get it, because there isn't really a market for this kind of stuff, and I'm actually happy that they and I hope, but I think so, that they also release a new record on Stardom Records, the Rotterdam label. So I hope to see them back in Rotterdam, for example. But cool band, cool single.
Cool.
And how about like Chris Hood? Like any band he's in is great. Like if he's the drummer, you just need to go buy the record.
Yeah. I think he also he also books bands in Europe.
Yeah.
He also books tours for bands.
Yeah, I definitely need to jump on his band. Like Niek said, I'm going to be looking out for that new LP. So this is number 3, yeah? Oh boy. So my number 3 is a band called Pleasance, and it's a 7-inch that came out on Fish and Cheap Records, which is another label that's just like, for me, it came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, I think Fish and Cheap got on my radar when they put out that Edders single, and I'm like, whoa, what's this label here? And I started checking out. So I got this 7-inch. I think I got it from Marco and from No Front Teeth, and he sent it to me, and I didn't even hear anything about it. In fact, I think he asked me. He's like, "Oh yeah, I've got copies of this. Do you want it?" I'm like, "Fish and Cheap, Edders, sure." And so I got it. I didn't know what to expect. It's awesome. It's like, it's weird because it's such a there's only 2 songs, and it's just cool, fast, rock and roll, melodic. It's nothing crazy, nothing lewd. No, it's not in your face. It's just 2 solid quality songs, and it's another record that I always put on. I have my turntable right here next to me, and I have the 7-inch right. In fact, I was trying to look for it, but I couldn't find it right in that little stack. And yeah, it's always been here with me, to listen to it all the time. So yeah, Pleasance, Losing Streak 7-inch on Fish and Cheap. Great little record.
So Jay, are those two? I think there are two songs on it, right? Are
Uh-huh.
those new songs or are they from their record? So this is one thing I got confused by because I saw the 7-inch passing by and I was like, I think I know these songs already.
Yeah, it was reissued.
It was reissue. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm looking here. I reviewed that same two songs in December of 2024. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, losing streak and sick sad situation.
Yeah. But
So
that's,
did
that's
another
okay.
label put them out? Did another label put the 7-inch out?
I think it was originally maybe on Bandcamp, which is probably when I reviewed it, and then it was going to be on this label Under the Gun. And I don't know if it ever came out Under the Gun. So I think
Under the Gun also released their full length, I think.
Okay, cool.
I did not know any of this.
Yeah,
but this is okay because this is a cool way to still discover this band because it's an awesome. I mean, if you like punk, I mean, this is such a fun band to listen to, and I mean, also they have a record out in 2024, Rock and Roll in Mono.
Yeah.
It's a kick-ass record, but it's funny. It's a funny record. I mean, this is really this typical Australian band, and you should also look at the videos because they look kind of Australian, like the weird hair, and they have weird shaped guitars, and it's fast, and they have this cool. All these Australian bands, they seem to have like these killer guitar riffs, and the guy. Frontman of Presence, I think he also plays in Dennis Comedy, which is also this really riff-heavy punk rock band, and he also plays in the Ghoulies, which is more like maybe more of an egg punk kind of band. So you should also dive into that full length, Jay, because it's awesome.
Oh, I'm getting that.
So we're back. I think we're at number 2 now, right?
Yes.
And my pick, I have to admit that I didn't anticipate this ending as number 2 on my list. But as I told before, I was revisiting these records, and there was one record that is, to a certain extent, it's kind of like a guilty pleasure kind of record for me because it reminds me a little bit about like the 80s hair metal stuff that I used to love when I was like 10 or 12 years old. But it's a bit more polished than that. It's not really like the crazy hair metal with the shrieking voices. It's more controlled. It's kind of glammy. And the record is Hooked by Josephine Network. And it's, if you go back to it, so I went back to it, and it has so many hits. It's like, oh man, this is really a hit. And then the next song hits, and it's really, oh, this is also a hit. And there's all these classic guitar riffs. They aren't that complicated, but they're so effective. So it's the kind of record that you play loud in your car with your windows down. It's glammy, it's bubblegummy, it's 80s hair metal, it's 70s power pop. It's a little bit of everything. But I think Josephine Network, so I think she has multiple records out.
Yeah.
But it's like she had an idea for what this record should be and nailed it, basically. So, and I'm saying it's a guilty pleasure because it's almost too obvious of what she's doing, but it's killer. It also has like this. I mean, the artwork is already like says it all. It's like, oh, this is one of those records that you find in a bargain bin, and you say, oh, this must be some 80s cool glammy pop metal stuff or something like that. And but it's super polished, but it's also super rocking. So Josephine Network, Hooked.
Cool. Somebody that we had on the show, Josh.
Yeah, that was Steve.
Loudon, SW Loudon. Yeah, okay, yeah. And I never followed through with it. But I'll check. I know you're a fan, right, Josh?
Well, yeah, because the very next day, Josephine emailed me the record. And,
oh, really?
All right, I'm going to listen to it. And of course, it's awesome. Just great, glam, pop, rock and roll, all hits.
Really, all hits, yeah.
Front to back hits.
Nice.
So, getting down to my number 2 here. This is an album that Dennis reviewed on Add to Want list. It's a band that I've always been a huge fan of, from Germany, the Melmax. Uh, the album is Euphankalia. I love that album title. Uh, there's lots of bands that are like this that that I kind of naturally gravitate to. There's power pop and there's punk, but these bands that are kind of both, that really hits a sweet spot for me. Like power poppy punk rock or punky power pop or whatever you want to call it. But add in even more of a touch of like new wave on this record. More of the keyboards, and I just love the vibe of this. Like this is an album that's kind of like a love letter to other human beings, like songs that are full of encouragement and hope, and sort of like you're out there listening to this record, and this record is telling you, hey, you can do something, you can make something of your life, and you're valued, and we care about you. I just haven't heard a band that loves its fans the way the Melmax does in a long time, and they made videos for like a whole bunch of these tracks, which I thought was so cool.
Yeah.
So you're running up to the release, and I'm reviewing a new single for like 4 or 5 months. Run for Your Life is a great track. Falling, Lazy Hearts, Electric Night, which is kind of like the concluding track, which is more of a sort of a glam rock anthem. So yeah, great stuff from the Melmax. I think an amazing band, and a little underrated, and a few labels had their hand in that, but our man Teddy Spaghetti was one of them.
I love how you put that about this band, like offering support or encouragement or sending positive vibes to their fans, because I feel this also. I mean, of the kind of music that we're listening to, I always like that part of it, like this sense of inclusion from the music. Like you're not alone. We can do this together. You got this. Even if perhaps you feel different from other people, you're not a weirdo. You're just you're okay. And so nice words, Josh.
Thank you.
Yeah, great band. Melmax.
Great band as well. Yeah. And Dennis will be happy that you mentioned or that you picked this record as a second on your list.
So you guys are going to probably hate me for this, but I have a tie for my number 2. I could not pick which one of these. Both of them are reissues, and so for my number 2 is a tie of the Effigy 12-inch EP that Sealed Records put out. And I think it's 5 songs of just killer anthemic, like anarcho punk from early 80s. It's super catchy. And from I think the band was from Buckinghamshire, England, and just killer. Those 5 songs are just so awesome. And my other record is T-Red, that Nausea Records put out, which is it's new wave. And when I say new wave, it's exactly what you would. It's like it's dark, catchy, new wave music from Belgium that Nausea Records unearthed and put out in the world, and I was blown away by this LP. It was demos and promo EP. I guess I just never saw the light of day until now, and just brilliant. Both of these, this full length, this T-Red LP, brilliant. Effigy, brilliant. Killer reissues.
How do you spell this first band? Effigy?
It's Effigy.
Okay. I'm going to check them out.
Yeah.
Put them on my own list.
It's killer stuff. All 5 songs are like just complete bangers. But it's always, I mean, I wasn't really familiar with Sealed Records. They put out a couple of reissues like Bikini Mutants and Chin Chin. that were great. And then I just kind of, I don't know, they just kind of faded away. I just kind of put it in the back of my brain. And then this record came out, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got to keep on that record label. There's just some record labels you just always want to keep your eye on. And this is one of them. And so is Nausea, of course. Nausea, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Nausea Records. Marcus from Nausea, dude, that guy's always digging around for stuff, So yeah, both
Cool.
great labels.
Nice. So, Jay, I have a confession to make, and you shouldn't feel bad, because with my final pick, I also decided to. I mean, I couldn't really pick one, and I'm going to cheat a little bit also because these two records have like the same personnel involved. So, my final picks are the new Lemon Twigs record, Look for Your Mind, and the self-titled Uni Boys records. So I think that the Dario brothers of the Lemon Twigs, they produced the Uni Boys record, and Reza Martin of the Uni Boys, he plays drums in the Lemon Twigs. So there's a kind of a link between these two records, and I have to admit they start sounding more like each other with each new record as well. And this is a little bit same with Maud Lang. If you asked me like 10 years ago if I would enjoy like the Lemon Twigs, I would say no, not really. I see that they are talented, but I mean it's not really my thing, because I'm more of a punk rock kind of guy. But I really like their last record, which is more like a power pop kind of record. And I also read in an interview that this was kind of what the decision that they made. So for the first couple of records, they were trying to find their own identity, and then they decided, well, we're just going to write the music that we actually love ourselves, which is more like the power pop kind of stuff. And after the previous record, I went to their show in Amsterdam together with Dennis, and I was blown away by this band. So if you are skeptic about the Lemon Twigs, I really recommend seeing them on stage, because your skepticism will disappear right away, because they are really talented. So on record, you hear all these harmonies and they sound amazing, and then you go see them live and it's perfect. How they play. They're also really funny as well, which I didn't anticipate. So I was there with Dennis, and Dennis, he was constantly looking at me. I can't believe you are enjoying this. I can't believe you're enjoying it, because he knows my musical taste, and he was like, I mean, it's great, it's perfect, but I can't believe you are enjoying this. So I became a fan right there, and then the new album came out, and they go even further back into the 60s and 70s rabbit hole, and but I'm just blown away about how talented they are, and they are so good in what they do, and it's clear that they put so much effort in the details of this record. So I think also what helped was that I had a long drive with my car in the week that this record came out. So I played it like constantly, and then you get to know the songs, and then you start to appreciate them even more, even the songs that aren't perhaps really your cup of tea. So, I mean, listening to this record, I think, and I'm going to see them again in October, I think.
Cool.
I think if you like a band like Big Star, I mean, we were born too late to see that band in their heyday. We can see them now in the form of like the Lemon Twigs. So blown away by this record. And then you have like the Uni Boys records, which also I think is their most ambitious record to date, and they're also their most professional. And perhaps I'm a bigger fan of their past work, which is a bit more scrappy 70s power pop kind of stuff. But again, I appreciate what they're trying to do, and there are a couple of songs there which is like perfect pop songs, and they still have like this speedy, skinny tie power pop stuff, which they also do really well. And I mean, records like these, man, what a time to be alive. For me, it's like, oh man, because at no point it feels like, and especially if you look at how these guys look, because they actually look like they were transported from the 70s
Sure.
to but they aren't campy. It's like it's really authentic, and the same with Mod Lang. It's like these songs have always been around, and they do it so well. And for this kind of music, it was an amazing first half year.
I agree.
It's like the world is finally taking notice of power pop.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
hey, I got no complaints with that. Let's have this kind of music
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's keep it rolling.
as popular as possible, because that means we're going to get more of it. So
Yeah,
yeah, credit to the Lemon Twigs for spearheading this whole like great renaissance, because there was like a whole period of time where you were reviewing a lot of stuff like the Josephine Network, and you were just talking about how what an amazing time this is for
yeah.
just great pop records. And let's keep it rolling. Like I
Yeah.
don't want to go back to
Yeah.
when everything was miserable.
Well, one thing I also love. So I read an interview with Connor Lumsden of Music City, and he toured with those guys in the States, I think, or perhaps in Europe, and he was mentioning, so after the shows, they went out for a drink, and he said, well, those D'Addario brothers, they were actually working on their music in the pub. They were just still writing music notes, and they were trying to find ways in their songs. And he was looking at that, and he said, oh man, that's a high bar. That's a high bar, and I need to get to that bar. So they take their music super seriously. But I love like these little details in the stuff that they're doing. So remember how, I mean, when I was younger, you have all these misconceptions about musicians, and you say, oh, they are selling out, or they're getting too big, or but these guys are the real deal, and I wish them all the best, and I hope that they get huge, and they are put them on a main stage on a festival, because this is just, they're so good.
That's what we want. We want we want good music to be recognized and enjoyed and popular, because it creates a world where you get more of that sort of thing. And
yeah. In the Netherlands, we have so many tribute bands nowadays. Like these they actually have festivals with all tribute bands, and they sell out. There are like 10,000 people going to a tribute festival, and
Wow.
and one of my best friends, he plays in the tribute band, so I'm perfectly fine with it, and I also feel that there are really talented musicians doing that kind of thing. But it also breaks my heart a little that, oh man, you should know that there are really, like, the original stuff is really great, and please support those kinds of bands as well. I mean, go to those tribute festivals, but also know that there's music out there that is just as good.
Absolutely. So getting down number one, this is not going to be a shock to anyone. But this, I can't remember the last time I was this excited about a new record, like when it came out. Like I'm going back to like 97 or something when that first Donna's record came out, where it was like, I heard a record that was so good that, I wanted everyone I knew to hear it. So yeah, on Stomp Records and Wild Honey Records, Taxi Girls, Static, debut record. I think what I love about this record is you could play this for anyone of any age that was into punk rock. So, you got the old Gen Xers like me that will be like, oh yeah, this reminds me of good old school punk rock and power pop. But it also would sound relevant to like younger people because it's got that fresh energy to it. And they have all of these classic influences and more modern influences, but they're not trying to be any other band. And because they have so many influences, it kind of all comes together as being very, very original, but you get those incredible hooks, this fantastic songwriting, and just to have this sort of thing that Vera and Jamie have as a dynamic, as two lead singers who can sing. They can alternate vocals, they can sing together in the same song, they can harmonize, but they're like a formidable tandem. And of course, Lynn is like, one of the best drummers out there. And like, again, any band that Lynn is in, just go buy the record. And they have this guitar player, Gabrielle, who absolutely slays. So, incredibly talented musicians, great songwriters. It's a record that will remind you of like why you fell in love with punk rock, but will also point to the idea that punk rock can be this living, breathing thing, this thing that's current and looking to the future. And it's almost impossible for me to like single out any tracks because they're all so good. But I'm just thinking about a song like "Try Harder." Just the brilliance of writing the song where you have the sort of the vocals going back and forth, but you have this incredible like instrumental hook that's kind of driving the song, like the catchy part. And then the way they end the song with so much enthusiasm and just sort of relying on that instrumental hook, it's just a brilliant track. So I mean, it will remind you of so many bands that you love without trying to be any of those bands. And I think anybody who loves punk and rock and roll needs to check out the Taxi Girls and buy that record. And you can get it in North America, you can get it in Europe. No excuses.
I haven't heard this record yet. It just came out like at time of recording, right? Like it just
last
came out
Friday.
Okay, about a week ago then. But yeah, I haven't heard it. Sorry, Niek, go ahead.
No, I think they really knocked it out of the park with this one. I mean, so I liked all the stuff that they put out before. So I was looking forward to hearing it, but then I started listening to it. I was like, oh man, this is like they exceeded my expectations by a mile, and I was already kind of enthusiastic about this band, and I think one of the surprises was how much fun this record is. So you really get that excitement of discovering punk rock. That feeling is there. With the TV show Freaks and Geeks, they use like Bad Reputation from Joan Jett. This is like this really, it works really well for that TV show because you're already in the mood like, oh yeah, I'm a teenager and I have to go to school and I'm that vibe is there. With certain songs, you have like this vibe of, oh man, this reminds me of the Muffs and of the voice of Kim Shatuk, and it's like, oh, you get goosebumps because it's such a fine memory of that kind of music, and I'm really blown away, and I'm actually kind of feel bad because I listened to it a lot last weekend, but then of course the new Music Week was there, and I haven't listened to it that much, but I actually look forward to going back in and playing it more, because Josh, you probably also had an advanced copy, so you've been playing it already for months then, or
yeah,
did you start okay. I need to spend more time with it.
Yeah, I think Jamie sent me the link on my birthday, so I've been
cool
for like 3 months.
Yeah, I had it in my mail, but I don't really get to it that often to these advanced copies, but oh man, Taxi Girls, what a great job they did.
Cool. Yeah, I like them. I've been out of the loop for like a month or so because of health reasons, and I just, then I've been missing work, and that's piled up, and so yeah, I feel like I've been missing these things that just came out, so I got to get on it. I got to get back on the train. So when I was saying I had a hard time narrowing my list down. I had a hard time, except for my number one. I knew what my number one was going to be, and that is the new Miscalculations LP, Paradox Intact, came out on No Front Teeth, a few months ago, and I couldn't believe more people, like it wasn't more of a fuss about this record. But Miscalculations are like one of my favorite bands, and this LP, in my opinion, just soars past those. I mean, the songwriting is just, it's on point. Musically, it's sharper, it's more focused, it's got more hooks into it. It in the songs, it blew me away. And and especially what first of all, Marco and Sean Clark did on this LP was brilliant. But what Marco does he released like 4 or 5 other LPs of his other bands, which I'm a huge fan of too. And I was struggling to pick out if it was going to be Self-Incrimination or Iris Paralysis. But Miscalculations is one out for me. I find this LP so great. Such a great band. I hope he keeps doing it. Hope him and Sean keep collaborating on this because, great record, great music, and it's. I mean, in case anybody out there doesn't know, it's like a melodic post-punk, very dark. You know what you guys are saying about the Melmacs being all like, this is none of that. This is pretty dark.
The anti-Melmacs.
yeah. And but yeah, it's great. I love Miscalculations. I don't know if you guys got a chance to hear it.
I have not heard that record yet.
I've heard it, but I sometimes have trouble getting into like the more dark post-punk kind of stuff. It doesn't really connect with me. So I remember hearing it, thinking it sounded cool, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, I think if I was, if I was in a dark place, I don't think I could hear this record. I don't think I could listen to this record. But just the fact that I'm, generally kind of a happy dude, like I can. it doesn't faze me. But if I was like a dark person, this would pull me into the abyss. Probably.
Yeah, you have a natural defense mechanism against the dark thoughts. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, that was my number one. So should we go just real quick, do some honorable mentions?
Yeah, rapid fire honorable mentions.
Yeah, sure. So my list of honorable mentions includes a lot of the stuff that you mentioned, like Physicalist, Taxi Girls, Six Shooters, Brad Marino. But there are a couple of ones that I wanted to include. So in terms of like the renaissance of rock and roll, I love the new Daniel Romano's Outfit record. Also a band that if they're in the neighborhood, go see them because they are killer on stage. Also, I wanted to include Sparrowhawk. Sparrowhawk is like this kind of like it belongs to the category of bands that they try to do like Thin Lizzy kind of music, but played by punk rock bands. Also cool bands. I was actually anticipating you including the Etters, Jay, but we mentioned them often enough so that I don't feel bad about the Etters.
It came out like late last year, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it can, no, but they also released a single on Fish and Cheap Records. And I think that single was this year. 7-inch was this year. Yeah. Slippers, which is more like a alt pop band I really love. The new Roberta Lips record, that's a band from Paris. It's great, 7-inch. I think the new Itchy and the Niche LP is really funny. They have really funny rhymes. It's almost like a nursery rhymes, but they're kind of naughty and they're really simple garage pop punk songs. I like the new Local Drags record on Stardom Records. And this week, this record I wrote about yesterday is a new Bashful record, LP. Yes, if you like poppy punk rock, like a bit of like the Urks and the Mikey Urk solo stuff, this is really a killer record. It's really, I was really hyped up. So it was kind of a record that I started playing, then took a second spin, then the third spin. I was hyped up, writing my review right away. So it was also a nice one. So those are my honorable mentions, but I could have included much more, I think.
Yeah.
Josh?
Like I didn't know where to stop with honorable mentions, so I tried to keep it fairly limited. So I mean, we already talked about Uni Boys, that would have been on there. Friends of Cesar Romero for sure. Music City, we mentioned that one. Six Shooters, we mentioned that one. Itching the Knits, just mentioned that one. Log Flume, Go Where the Money Goes.
Oh yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
a sort of local band to me. Great power pop with sort of indie rock charm. Chelsea Curve out of Boston, the Ride Out. Tiger Bomb, 15 super hits. And then some 7-inches, the Edders. Girl Drink Drunks out of Portland, Meal Deal. Private Lives, Think I'm Coming Around. Disket, Running, and then Peppermint Kicks, Shaking Underground, which was like a music video single.
Cool. I can't believe I for some reason I thought that Edders 7-inch came out last year too. That would have made my list 100%. Damn it. I knew I should have checked. I knew
we've talked about them enough, right? So we mentioned them a lot. So.
That's true.
But go check the Edders. Go check the Edders. They're funny. They're raunchy, killer garage punk band.
Yeah.
And I think Jerry already has written like another record, right? I think he has
Probably, yeah. So my honorable mentions, like Niek said, we mentioned a lot of these. The Maud Lang LP, Borrowed Time. This band that I reviewed called Stabber, which is like hardcore, like punk. Great 7-inch. Automatic Lovers LP. Josh mentioned Flash Kicks LP. The New Riffs 7-inch. Great. Sleevines, National Anthem. Band called Suicidas that came out on La Vida es un Mus. And the name of the LP is Canciones Malditas, which is just like melodic street punk sung in Spanish, but it's great songs. 21 Children, it came out on Slovenly, that LP called After the Storm. Another record sung in Spanish called Buramania, and that came out on Roachleg Records. I think I reviewed that too. And talk about dark post-punk. Another one that just narrowly didn't make my list was the new Station Model Violence LP. It came out on Anti-Fade and Static Shock. Great record. I'm a really huge fan of that band and that LP. Those were my honorable mentions.
Cool.
What a year.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah. And it's only half the year. It's going to be a busy list at the end of the year.
Yeah. I just need to get organized like Josh because my administration is chaos. It's like it's one big mess. Yeah.
Mine too. So don't feel bad. I'm the same way. Yeah. Well, cool, Niek. Thank you so much for stopping by and giving us your list. We love having you on. We love Add to Want List. Say hi to Dennis.
I will. As soon as he's back from his holiday in Portugal, I will say hi to him. Now, it was really fun. I mean, talking about cool music with like-minded souls is always great. And huge fan of your blogs, your current ones, your past ones. So it was my pleasure.
Thank you, and we appreciate it. We appreciate you, whoever's tuning in, listening. Please go check out all those bands. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, let's put them in a playlist for
sure,
for the listeners. Yeah,
for sure. I'll put that together. So thank you for listening to Born Too Late podcast. Until next episode.